back in the 5,000, coming up with just 4 laps remaining, and Morgan McDonald has now taken over the lead. Brody Hasty of Northern Arizona right there, checking him off his right shoulder. UCLA's Robert Brandt also there in on the rail. We're looking at a projected 14:25 finishing time, and again, not the most ideal conditions in which to run 5,000 meters. The humidity is down in the 30s, low 40s, but it's still in the mid 80s at 9:35 local time.
Well, everybody who we mentioned off the top of the show is still there. There's Grant Fisher there on the outside. He's next to his Pac-12 compatriot Robert Brandt. And Robert Brandt and that UCLA team had a fantastic conference meet. They were second to last year as a team, and this year they finished in second place behind the Oregon Ducks. So what a turnaround. Avery Anderson, the Pac-12 Coach of the Year, has done a wonderful job there at UCLA. Things looking up there for a school that you're familiar with, Dwight.
Yeah, they've had some struggles in the last decade or so with that program, and it's good to see they've got some people in the meet scoring. They had a couple discus throwers that scored today on the women, or yesterday on the women's side. So good to see a great school with great tradition in track and field. I was very fortunate to be on an NCAA championship team back in 1972 when I was a freshman there, and that was a lot of fun. There's not much more fun than being on a championship team.
There's Jordy Bima. She's moving up now on the outside. He was your indoor mile champ. You know, he's going to have some great speed if he can stay up front and kick with the kickers.
Sunday night baseball this week. We have one of the top rivalries in baseball. The Cardinals and Cubs play their series finale at the Friendly Confines. Our coverage begins at 6 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app with Baseball Tonight, Sunday Night Countdown. So NAU, Northern Arizona, with no less than 3 athletes in this 5,000 meters. Of course, they live and train at that altitude of Flagstaff, Arizona. And they are unbeatable in cross country, having won the last 2 team titles in that fall-winter sport. There are a lot of runners that are in this race. Nobody's dropped anybody.
I just can't help but think back on Wednesday in that 10,000 meters. Clayton Young, Connor Manson, those guys are here mixing it up, grinding it. It's a tough turnaround, a couple of days, but you lose a lot of fluids in that 10,000 meters, but those guys are out here doing a wonderful job. But this is a very familiar sight. These two running shoulder to shoulder, Morgan McDonald and Grant Fisher.
And you can just feel the tension there. Everybody getting ready to wind it up right here. Here it comes. And Grant Fisher goes into the lead at the bell. It's a little pushing and shoving. McDonald pushes Fisher forward.
Well, Grant was really fighting hard to get on that inside rail, and McDonald wasn't about to let him, but he got his stride, and now he takes the lead. And the guy who had started the sprint first ultimately is the guy who has won between these two. Grant's given it a shot about 300 meters out.
Fisher followed by McDonald, who looks very strong now with 200 meters to go. Clayton Young is there for BYU, and Edwin Kurgat from Iowa State. But it's coming down to a 2-man race once again. Grant Fisher and Morgan McDonald. Senior versus senior. It's going to be McDonald once again. He goes by. He's got that extra gear that he finds in the straightaway and wins it in 14:06. So a little bit of a disappointment with Oliver Orr in the 1,500 meters. He failed to defend. He ended up 4th. And Morgan McDonald not letting the same thing happen here. 52.9 for McDonald on his last 400 meters.
Well, that's the difference between Morgan McDonald and really the rest of the field. Being able to drop a 52, that is world-class speed. But Morgan McDonald, such an interesting character. at Wisconsin. He took off the 2018 indoor season so that he could prepare for the Commonwealth Games, and he went and represented Australia in those Commonwealth Games. And then they find out that Wisconsin is going to host the outdoor NCAA cross-country championships. He's ready for that, and he wins in front of a huge crowd in Madison, Wisconsin, and he wins his 4th NCAA title here tonight. Don't count him out for the Bowerman Award, Dwight. We're looking at Grant Holloway tonight and some of these other guys. 4 titles in the distance races in 1 year. This guy, we could be looking at the Bowerman Award winner right there.
So Morgan McDonald gets it done. Smart tactical running. Gets another title in the 5,000 meters his senior year at the NCAA championships.